Welcome back. Episode 4. I don't know how long it's been. It feels like 2 weeks. Maybe it's not. Time's kind of a blur. But I just wanted to start with some music. Unfortunately, I have to cut this off before the whole video just gets banned. But this is 070 Shake Flight 319. A lot of numbers, but if it interests you, you can look it up. I'll link it, whatever. You know what I mean? Anyway, how are you doing? I'll give you a minute to answer. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. It's just, can't hear you. Anyway, today it's Sunday. Today is Sunday. What is today's date other than knowing that it's Sunday? It is Sunday, February 28th, 11:56 a.m. right there, right when I said it. 56 a.m. Sunday, February, the end of February. Yo, it's the last day of February. February. Spelled a little weird. Definitely spelled a little weird. February. All right, enough of that. I'm distracting myself. So today feels a little mum. I don't know if that's the right word. Yesterday felt a little not as bad. Day before that, not as bad as the day before. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that there's been like a steady decline of energy. I believe Friday, this recent past Friday, which would make it the 26th. On Friday, I already kind of woke up with this weird pause. I mean, I got out of bed, whatever, I did stuff. Like, woke up. I didn't leave the house. I rarely leave the house. And I guess that's one thing that crosses my mind. You could blame COVID, you could do whatever the fuck, who cares? I just really don't go out much. And it's sometimes kind of frustrating for me to express this to friends. Because typically the answer is, well, let's go out. And that's not really what I want to do. Like, I don't. There's this, sorry, I'm trying to find the words here because I decided to do this on my way back from the supermarket. Like even today, I know I'm right away I just skipped ahead 2 days to today. Like today I got up and I woke up pretty awake. What? I know. What the fuck does that mean? I just felt alert. Like I didn't feel as sluggish as the last 2 days, but I woke up and I again wasn't sure what the hell to do with myself. So I'm like, let me just go shower and you do the morning routine and let me just go to the store because I failed to order Freshly, my Freshly service, which I advertised last episode. If you're interested in $40 off of your order on Freshly, I will leave a link in the information section, but I'm not going to talk about it right now outside of that. I forgot to place my order, so I have no food coming in this week from Freshly, which would have came today. It always comes on Sunday for me. So I'm like, hey, let me just go to the supermarket and just get some food for the week, like real food. And I didn't even know what the hell to get for myself. Like, I mean, deep down, I've got a craving for frozen pizza. I love frozen pizza, and you can understand, like, Freshly is probably way better for me than frozen pizza. The frozen pizza is delicious. And it'll just take up my day. Don't get me wrong. I'm not eating frozen pizza and then eating like a pack of gummy bears and then like drinking soda all day. Like, I don't know how strange it might sound to you, but I'll just make a frozen pizza like early afternoon. And as unhealthy as it does sound, I'll just have that frozen pizza last me the whole day. I don't care. And I've been drinking way more water since the whole kidney stone situation. Also, referring to last episode, had a terrible kidney stone experience. I believe it's all gone. My discomfort went away after maybe 3 to 4 days. I was really confused about the medication they gave me. Excuse me, I was reaching over for it. One of them is to help me urinate more. Some like generic brand Flomax, I believe. But it only insists that I take it for 3 days. I took it for 4 days. But there's so many pills left. Like, why give me this much of an order? There's legit like 11 more pills in there. It was 1 pill per day. The label says take it for 3 days. So why give me enough to, I don't know, dehydrate myself? And there was another medication they gave me for, it was an anti-inflammatory pill. I'm just gonna have to make these breaks normal where I stop speaking to drink water. I don't really speak this much at all. I mean, I do. I'm with a friend, or friends, typically online. But most of my days, I mean, I already said I don't go out. I'm spending it to myself. It's very rare I speak this much, especially to myself, without this much interruption. Granted, the majority of my youth was like this. Because I was a social butterfly before. Anyway, yeah, the other medication, which was for anti-inflammatory reasons, I guess, whatever, I'm butchering this. Even that said to just take it for a few days. But they gave me like 30 of them. I didn't get it. So here they sit. I don't know why. Can't sell it on the black market or anything. So where was I? Supermarket, pizza. Pizza's delicious. But yeah, I'll drink a lot of water, whatever. If I snack on something later, it's probably like a popsicle. Real adult stuff. So if you're listening to this and you happen to have a fancy towards me, or you're a friend of mine or a family member, yeah, I eat like a grown 14-year-old. Whatever. I'm okay. Anyway, so I've been waking up with meh energy. It's been going on for like maybe 2 to 3 days. I told another friend that probably I'm depressed, but I said it so passingly that there really was no conversation about it. I think they know that I'm the kind of person, if I recognize something, I'll try to find a way to distract myself, if not work on it. And they let it go. Thanks, if you know who you are. But it's just strange. And you know, I don't know how old you are, listener, but like I'm approaching my 35th year on this planet Earth. And more so in the last 4 years, I guess, ever since the turn at 30, which is a cliche. People are like, you hit your peak at 30. I feel like I actually hit adulthood at 30, mentally. Everything else around me, though, doesn't exactly correlate to the definition of adult. And I guess I mean that in a pop culture way to put it. I mean, it's not like I'm Miley Cyrus, but like I just feel like there's a standard expectation around particular ages. And growing up, I don't think I ever fit in any particular mold, any positive mold at least, as far as ill. You know what? I've labeled it as corporate America, but that sounds stupid. That sounds really stupid. So let's break that down. What do I really mean that I'm not fitting like a typical mold here? I'm not. Let's be harsh, right? I'm great at being harsh on myself. Am I productive? What would constitute as being productive? Are you looking for a great income? Because man, I've got family members who are, in my perspective. Now, mind you, and everything else around it, this is all perspective. So, from my perspective, I got family members who are balling. Like, shit. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, when I hear certain numbers, even from friends. And, like, I've got a friend who, his wife, his wife and he, whatever. Semantics, fuck it. So it was their anniversary. I forget how many years, but for the sake of awesomeness, let's just say 20, right? 20-year anniversary. And they're celebrating it, you know, everyone's got their thing. Everyone's a little different. Some people celebrate it with food, some people celebrate it with material things, some people bring the whole collection of shit together. One point of his story to me was about let's just call it jewelry. They were purchasing jewelry. And the number he hit me with, I was just like, just holy fuck. but it's lovely. You know, I get where it's coming from, and I know the person is a hard worker, and that's their lifestyle. You know, that's the perspective that they've managed things through, and there's nothing really negative to say. It's really, I mean that in a congratulatory way. Like, hey, like you're awesome. Like, I don't know how you do it. That's something I've struggled with forever. Uh, Sorry to specify. What I've struggled with is monetary gain. Is that a better way to put it? Being productive towards a monetary gain. I don't know how to do it. I mean, I've had jobs. They haven't been exactly sparkly. You know, I'm not out there in a chemist suit or cleaning teeth or building rockets. I don't know. It never, something just never got the wheel running right. So let's focus on that, I guess, is if I have to ask myself, okay, why can't I do that? Let's think of scenarios where I've been in a workplace, and let's think of times, reasons, whatever, how I have maybe unintentionally self-sabotaged myself or didn't feel like I fit in or whatever other excuses, right? Again, let's be harsh, whatever excuses I can think of. What the fuck is the problem? And I can always say, I don't know. It feels like I don't know. Um, I'm pretty emotional. I've had times where I feel left out of things. Quick story comes to mind. Who knows how this is gonna sound? I used to work in a party city. I used to work in a party city in Queens, and it wasn't exactly a job that I was striving for. It just, you know, I needed a work. I needed a work. GG. I needed to work. I got a job, and things fell into place very quickly. Everything worked out. Like I always have confidence in myself to be put in a situation where responsibilities are expected of me, and I believe as long as I'm given a clear direction, some kind of freedom to be creative, or let me pause at creative. Some kind of freedom to be creative by means of troubleshooting, solving a problem. Uh, Communication's big for me. Um, Time is big for me. I may not be the best at time management, which also can be a problem. But if you give me time, if time is allowed, like I love the idea of stripping things down and looking at how all the pieces can fit and the best way to go forward. And that's not exactly something you do in an 8-hour shift. I mean, you can for some things, but as shitty as I am at navigating my big picture, if I find interest in something, I love looking at the map of that. And if we were to keep this in greens and reds, green being positive, red being negative, if we were to keep this like that, I love seeing it go green. And I love the responsibility. This is ego now. I love the responsibility of making that green bigger than anyone else's. Like, even if it's a gradual process, I love that. Now, here's where I fall apart. I fall apart because since I'm an emotional fucking goober, if I ever feel like I'm not included, if I ever feel like communication becomes lacking, I guess this is control freak stuff. I feel like consistency falls off. A part of me is much like a mirror, like an extreme mirror. Like if I get a little bit less of the norm, I drastically just fall off the cliff. And I've tried managing that with some things. I mean, obviously, again, like I said, through as you age, like me, again, perspective. As I've aged, and I try to measure my potential responses. You know, I feel like everyone. Perspective, please don't get mad. I feel like everyone starts to learn, like, hey, I don't like that, and it's not as simple as, ugh, it's blue. It's more. It's there's a feeling that starts to bubble. Maybe you catch the cues a bit sooner. And I've learned to do that, but bottling things in for me has never been good either. I feel like an asshole saying this because I know I'm not the so much noise outside. I know I'm not the only person ever who's had to deal with bottling thoughts and emotions, but I do know people can relate. And also, I do know that everyone has a different size bottle, and how we fill it unintentionally, too, how we fill it is kind of random. Like, ugh, I'm so easily distracted. Right, that huge pause is because we have a fucking landline phone, right? I don't know if you can hear it. I doubt you can hear it. Nope, the mic's not registering it. Okay. There's a landline phone in the living room, and it just rings and rings and rings forever, and the voicemail's been packed and loaded, and I just want to rip it out of the wall. And it's ringing right now, and it completely threw my train of thought. Just the train has crashed. I hate that. I can't. This is another problem I have is when I'm really trying to fight this. I'm sorry. Please stop ringing. When I'm in quote unquote the zone, right? And I don't think I was in the zone now, but interruptions suck. And like I said, I'm an emotional person, so like getting interrupted by that, acknowledging it, knowing it's not even of use. There's just all these branches of reason that start sprouting from the acknowledgement of like, wow, this is annoying me. And they're all negative. And I'm so emotional that I start getting frustrated. And I'll, again, contain it, bottle it. Who cares? It's pointless. It's silly. But that's such an unnecessary thing that I just stuffed in my back pocket. And I do strongly believe that such unnecessary little, completely in just trash. My recycle bin is full, and you run a chance of unloading this on someone at some point, and that's happened to me in workplaces where, and I'm sure it's happened to you, whether it's relationship, work, whatever. Sometimes your trash bin gets full and you just dump it on someone. It sucks. It's so stupid. So let's get around this. Now what's going in my head is I've had some friends and partners, like relationship partners, girlfriends, tell me, well, maybe you need therapy. I don't think you heard my sigh. I just sighed a little bit. My mom used to tell me that when I was a kid, but as a child, of course, I didn't take it serious. How could I? I don't know if I've mentioned before, like as a child, my mom babied the shit out of me. Like I miss my mom. I love my mom. I don't really know much about my mom. Passed when I was really early. And yes, I do believe this is a whole nother reason for what I claim to be a giant gaping hole in my personality. But she we would just argue, and I don't know why. Okay, pick apart the reasons why. I've talked about it in a prior episode about how I hated loud noises. Like everything around me was always loud and constant, and energy, the vibe, I don't know. And I guess it was normal from what was around me. And this isn't meant to disrespect my family and my mom, so whatever. But like there was an air of hostility, and like foul language was normal. And I mean I curse casually here constantly. In turn, anyways, I would curse at her, and we would argue, but she would always baby me, always. Didn't recognize that till much later, like how consistently she was buying me things and trying to, keep me occupied and letting me, like, all right, Tuesdays. She was usually off of work on Tuesdays. Tuesday is a school day. It's the weekday. Very often in my memory, I would not. She would not send me to school on Tuesday at all. I would just stay home. She'd let me sleep. She'd make me she'd make me like fried eggs and a grilled cheese or something. And sometimes there would be these experiments because she knew how much of a low fatty I was and how I liked certain food. So there'd be some days where it'd be a grilled cheese with bacon inside, which was, as a child, mind blowing. Grilled cheese with bacon in it? No way. Now, as an adult, I've learned, hey, if you got bacon in your grilled cheese, can you chop up the bacon a little bit? She would leave full strips. If you could imagine a child hungry, greedy, that gooey, melty, boiling cheese, and then you had just got a whip of that hot bacon slapping your chin. So it's important. Chop up your bacon, guys. Anyway, yeah, and like fried eggs and whatever. And she worked at a diner. I loved breakfast food. I still love breakfast food to today. I still love diners. That's definitely been a stamp. And again, I would always have Tuesdays off. But again, we would argue a lot and it would suck, and it was unchecked, completely unchecked. There was not exactly a father figure. I mean that I'm not trying to say you need a father, but there was no figure I could relate to. Is that better? I felt directionless. Didn't know how to manage myself. A lot of my quote unquote self growth has been me on my own. And that has been all mental. Like I don't lift weights. I mean, I used to run. Like I'm somewhat physical, but that's in my later 20s. I've never really worked out. I've never really been too hands-on with building things. I used to build like toy models, but I've never like done gritty, like quote unquote manly work. I've gardened. That's hard. Yo, if you think gardening is easy or like a woman thing, go fuck yourself. Gardening legit, especially if it's a terribly gross wrecked lawn and you gotta just rip it all out. Gardening is legit, and I learned to love sweating, not through gardening, just in general. I loved to learn effort. I'd love to learn witnessing growth, you know? So I'm not completely a lazy fuck. Like this gets so tough to pin down, because the more I elaborate, the more the branches just keep, you know, there's more branches. And to be totally brutally honest, do a lot of them matter? Probably not. But you gotta understand them, right? I guess. So yeah, therapy. She would when we would argue, she would tell me I need therapy. And of course, as a child, I'm like, you need therapy. You're the parent. Like, I'm crazy because of you too. So dead end silly stuff. You know, this is gonna be I need to work how to be professional. I need to be right back for 1 minute. I have to run to the kitchen because I decided to start running an episode while making a frozen pizza in the oven. And if it burns, that's gonna suck. So 1 sec, be right back. Love you. Ah! Okay. Look, sacrifices must be made. Okay. Strapping in. Hey, I'm back. I'm sorry. So, it's like a one-sided phone call. I pulled the pizza out. I left it on the stovetop. Whatever. For Christ's sake, why did I grab my Xbox controller like we're about to play a game together? I mean, I already told you, like, I'll just eat a pizza for the day. Do you think I eat that pizza immediately? No. I let it sit, and I pick at it. Oops. Which also, just for the record, I used to do that as a child too. My mom would make me dinner and get really frustrated with me, like why I don't eat right away. I would let it sit there for an hour. It didn't bother me. I don't care. Like, if that made you cringe or think, "Ew, whatever." Sorry. At least you know if you ever make me food, I'm gonna eat it eventually. So anyway, unless it's like dried ketchup or cold cheese, that's disgusting. I know pizza has cheese. Shut your mouth. So I made it. Let me live. Um, Therapy. Yeah, whatever. There's that. So I on the way back from the supermarket, I'm back in the lobby of my building, entering whatever, coming back home, and that thought of therapy crosses my mind. Ugh. I hate that I yawn when I do these, and it just makes me overthink. Like, why am I yawning? Am I bored with myself? You know? Do I not have enough oxygen due to me not speaking much? When I speak all this time, am I wasting brain air? Is that a thing? I don't know. Who cares? But I think about therapy on the way back home, and right away I challenge it. I just naturally challenge it. Whoops. What I ask myself, what could be different? And I don't know. Nothing springs to mind that's the word. Nothing springs to mind that seems promising. Nothing seems, even with like medication, like I don't understand it, is what I was gonna say. Am I against it? I don't know. I guess I'm so impartial to so many things. Even if I have an opinion, and granted, my opinion seems so contrasting to my interest. Like I'm so in the gray. I had an ex-girlfriend tell me that once. Not everything can be in the middle. Gotta be black or white. Look at that. Gave you such a small piece of such a large piece in my head that's probably just baking away, just baking for someone else to set off. I'm saying that with a smile because it's probably true. All right, so whatever. If you throw therapy out the window, if you throw prescriptions out the window, if you throw self-medication out the window, what have you got? The word distractions is probably not the best choice to use, but we've got distractions, we've got fitness. You got to be productive, exercise. We've got friends. And I've touched on each of those already. And I get stuck. That's it. This is the space. And I go back to, man, I'm getting older. Go back to thinking about like my actual health. Red flags or not, doesn't matter. I consider myself to be deteriorating. I've been using that word less in the last few weeks, but it came to mind today. I just don't know what to do about it. No, time's not stopping. So, what happens? People who want to be motivational will tell you, you gotta make it happen. Get off your ass. Maybe not in that tone. Sorry. So, okay, what do I want to do? You know, when you're a kid, or at least I went through this as a child, they ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What was your answer? You got it? My answer was always, I don't know. I was always okay with that. I don't know if I'm okay with that anymore. And unfortunately, I still don't know. That's where I am. So, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go eat my pizza, and chill out. Also, don't freak out by this. If you know me and you hear this and you're like, "Oh my God, he's breaking down," of course I'm gonna tell you. Excuse me. Of course I'm gonna tell you I'm okay. because I am. I am. I just think a lot. I got a lot of free time, and yeah, you know, put an ellipses there. I think I'm bored. It's tough to say lonely. I'm okay with being alone. That's why I don't care to go out. Just I don't. I tell you I'm an emotional person, and a lot of my lack of interaction with others, definitely a wall I've made. It is self-defense. I can be vulnerable. I can be affectionate. I want these things, absolutely, but they're not something to just dip your toes in and play with for a while. Another thing I've learned, I think it's very easy for me to get close to people, but that's not always a positive. You know, these are whether any relationship you ever had or work or whatever, if it ever turned bad and it's not a big deal, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. But really, it should always be a big deal. You know, there's a ton of things we forget over time. But I guess that goes back to me referencing like your bottle. Just are you might not even know you've put a few drops in there. And I don't know how big or small your bottle is. Nor do I know my own. Just I do know I have a huge tolerance for hope. That's probably not what you expected to hear. I hope a lot. I think hope is a stupid light. It's inevitable to think of, to hope for better, to hope for this or that. Of course, you want to think positive. I always tell my friends it's so much easier to think negative. Hold on to it and try to figure it out. Um, I'm answering my own questions, really. Anyway, I'm okay. Um, I hope you are too. So I've got some friends out there, and I keep saying friends. So I'm not referencing names because I don't know how they'll feel about it. But I got one friend who's losing his fucking mind, and understandably so. You know, crazy disease that they picked up from I don't know where or how, and it is brutal. You know, I've got another friend who's just, you know, let's put it this way. We're all trying to be happy. And yeah,